Welcome, followers of my channel, Things My Dad Didn't Teach Me. As many of you already know, I didn't grow up with my father in my life, so I had to seek out positive figures to emulate. I had to find people that wanted to pour into me, and luckily, I found a village. Now, as a husband and a father, I want to pour into others, moms, dads, and kids alike. Today, I share with you the story of a living legend, Captain Lee Monroe Owens.
Good morning, TMDDTM viewers. Let's welcome to our channel, Captain Lee Owens. JAA approved TROT, flight instructor for Oxford Aviation Academy of Oxford, England, UK, a fully qualified mission pilot for the Civil Air Patrol. Captain Owens is ATP rated, the highest rating one can achieve. He has acquired all instructor ratings. He has received numerous accommodations and recognition for impacted work all around the world. Captain Owens has flown search and rescue missions, disaster relief, counter narcotics and special operations missions. He has a wide variety of experience, from charter pilot to flight instructor to director of flight operations. Please welcome Captain Lee Owens.
I grew up in Mississippi on a plantation. My first school was in Estelle, Mississippi. Was a one-room schoolhouse, and I'm not making that up. We had no kindergarten in those days and things like that. When you got 6 years old, you went to school. And that's where I started, and I went from there to Howard, Mississippi, to Simmons High School, junior and senior high school. I was there for about 6 months, and the reason I was there for about 6 months was due to the fact that my parents moved from plantation to plantation, wherever the crops was better and the funds were better for us in those days. That was the late 50s and early 60s, and that still was going on. My father worked as a day laborer on a plantation. He made $6 a day, and to him that was a lot of money back in the 50s and 60s. We had meager beginnings, and we didn't have much, but I didn't know how blessed I was. I ate every day. I lived a healthy life. I got to exercise. We worked hard. We did like most blacks in the South. We raised our own food, and kids had to work and pick cotton and chop cotton and all the things that young black Americans do in the South. And it was an experience, but it was an experience that I say I wouldn't want. I didn't want my kids to grow up doing it, and I knew that was a better life. And I grew up listening to the radio, and I'm still a radio fan to this day. You know, we couldn't afford it, so we learned to listen to the radio. That was our world. And the world of the radio is a very vivid thing. You can put yourself in any parts of the world that you want. We would pick cotton and chop cotton and feed the dogs and hogs and chickens and all these kind of things. And believe it or not, we would go down and pick wild blackberries and come back so my mother could make us a blackberry pie. We're from a large family of two. That's unusual for Southern families. They're usually very big families, but it was just my brother and I. We had another brother, but he died of childbirth. So it was just he and I. And unfortunately, You wouldn't believe this, we both are Lee Owens. My father is Lee A. Owens. My brother is Lee A. Owens Jr., even though I'm the oldest. I'm Lee Monroe Owens, and we was all initials in our house until we did something bad. Well, we had to get up in the morning, feed the hogs, feed the chickens. If there was some eggs to be gotten, we had to get those. We had chores, and then we had to come back, get ready for breakfast. And my mother never sent us out hungry. And catch the bus and go to 40 miles to our school, which was right outside Greenville, Mississippi. And it was a county school. And it wasn't a city school, but it's a county school, a rural school. But I feel I got a very good education, a very good basics, reading, writing, and arithmetic. I had some teachers that really believed in us and trusted us and wanted us to be better, and they gave us the tools to do it, as limited as they were. We had no big-time science labs. We had no, when I got to play football, we had no weight room. You know, we were just a small rural country school in Mississippi, and coming from segregated schools, it was supposed to be equal to all the schools in Mississippi, but the predominant white schools had all the better equipment and better books, and we got the hand-me-down. And if you check the statistics today, Mississippi is last in education. I was just talking about it to my wife this morning. We was walking. I got enjoyment out of it. We didn't have a lot of toys. And my parents lived on a very meager income. We used to take a car tire and just push it down the road, catching it, pushing it, rolling it. And that was the utmost enjoyment. Just to play with that tire meant the world to us. So that was our toy. That's what we had. That's all we had. And we were thankful to have it. Just roll the tire, and we thought we'd race each other down the road. I can roll my tire faster than you. My tire's faster than you. Not knowing that the tire depended on energy provided by impetus provided by us. But we got the most enjoyment out of that. Simple things. Simple things. Making our own little bow and arrows and slingshot, even though the house was free to a point. If you was accepted onto the plantation, you lived in the house free. You didn't have to pay any rent. You just had to pay for your gas and your lights and your water if you had water coming in. Okay. Water was usually from a well on the plantation. Okay. And believe it or not, I pumped water. Literally. Hand pump. Go out and get a bucket and go get me some water. And that's what we did. Go pump it.
Okay. So I just wanted to make sure we share with our viewers just how different times were as it relates to housing being provided. There's going to be work that you have to do for me to provide this housing. And so when you say free, I just want to make sure that they understand that it's not technically free.
No. my father had to move from plantation to plantation, and we finally set roots at Hollywood Plantation and right outside Greenville, Mississippi. And that's where we worked until I was 16 years old, and my parents divorced, and my mother went off, took us to the city, and we grew up the last couple of years until I was 19 in the city of Greenville, off the plantation, which was about 14 miles away from the city. Greenville is right on the Mississippi River. It's a beautiful place, right in the Mississippi Delta. So there's a lot of cotton fields and a lot of work for people who do that kind of work back in the 50s and 60s. So my uncle was the foreman of the place. My father was one of the workers, and we kids, we got out a half a day from school to go work in the cotton fields and farm. But I knew there was something better. I had some very good elementary school teachers and junior high teachers and high school teachers that said there was something better that you do. If you get a good education, the sky is the limit. And I literally mean the sky is the limit. Not really, because our measuring stick was each other. We had all the kids that went to my school did the same thing. There was some kids that had a little bit what we would call middle class kids, maybe, but there was very few of those. Every one of the kids that and young people that I grew up with come from the same cloth. We worked in the same fields, we chopped the same cotton, we talked about the same things, we had the same interests as kids, things that we had dreams of going to Chicago, California, New York. But, that was the imaginary places. Those were the places that we really wanted to go. But I really had some good mentors when I was growing up. Probably the greatest mentor I had was my mother. The lady worked hard every day of her life. She had a third grade education, but she made sure that her sons went to school every day and got a good education, and she wasn't going to keep us out of school to work in the fields to make ends meet. She worked hard to make sure we ate, make sure the family was taken care of. And when she got divorced from my father, she was a single parent, raising 2 teenage boys, and she worked as a domestic housewife. And she got a job doing that. She bought her own house and put her kids in first. We was renting on a little small house on Sydney Street in Greenville. She said, I'm gonna get my kids out of that neighborhood and out of that little environment, and she moved us to Bird, a little bit better community, and she bought a house, and that's where we grew up. The reason I'm here today is because God has blessed me to do some miraculous things. And for a young man growing up in the South, coming off a plantation, it has given me the opportunity to travel around the world and do some extraordinary things.
I hope you are enjoying the Captain Lee M. Owens story, Living Legend. Please join us for part 2, Air Force over Army. Be sure to subscribe to the channel, like the video, and share with your friends and family. God bless.